Hope you're doing a good. Hope you're doing a good. Hope you doing a good. So I am going to talk about something that I'm going to be talking about for a little bit, and I hope you subscribe because if you're not, you're gonna have to find this some other way. So, all right, close up. So I'm going to talk about these things. CISS. As you know, this is my sticker printer, and people are realizing that this method I have by not putting these second party, third party, whatever party you want to call them, inks inside the printer, so I don't have to pick the printer up and shake it, right, is a better way of putting third party inks inside your printer. So if you do sublimation, best way to do it too is to get a CISS and put it on the external so you can actually shake these inks up. You can do it any way you want to. This way to me works a lot better than have the ink sitting in these tanks that they're not designed to hold them into. And I'm going to show you why they're not designed to hold second party inks. Third party, whatever you want to call them. Let me grab them. I have one actually that I took out. Let me show you why. So, not a close up. So, we're going to talk about these things today. CISS. And as you can see, I'm going to show you a bunch of different kinds of CISS here in a second. All right. Now, CISS can be used on multiple different printers. You can use them on practically any printer that has you can get a hose connection to connect them on. It doesn't really matter. You can put them on almost anything. Now, why these Epson 8550s are no good with putting third-party inks in here is because how these things are designed. And I want to show it to you in a way that you can actually understand, all right? So, I've seen people do crazy things by, let me show you. I want to get a good angle on this for you so you can see it. And I can also see what I'm showing you. So here we go. All right, now, if you're looking at this thing and you go, well, this thing looks pretty good. I can put second party and third party inks in here and they'll work just fine. No. This is a plastic barrier that sits on the side here, okay? This is the ink tanks that's inside. Let me show you. That sits right there. All right, that's the ink tanks that sits right there, right? As you can see, I took all of mine out because they're totally unnecessary. Now, this is that thing. So when you're looking at it from the outside, you're looking at literally that little piece right here. Just all this is covered up, so all you see is that, right? I know my hand's a little ashy. So this is what it looked from the one side. Now, if you can look, this is where your ink goes in. That little pad right here, okay, this just sucks up the excess ink that falls off from the top here. And it goes and it sits right there. It doesn't go anywhere else. It just sits up here and it just builds up eventually. Just keep building up. Now, if you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but there it is. See those holes right there? Hold on. All right, sorry. I was going to get a bunch of people going to make a bunch of noise. So, see these holes right in here? That hole right there is where the ink flows from up here. And these two little holes up in the channel here, hope you can see them. If you can't see them, sorry. But you can see two holes right up in the top here. That's the channel. That's these two channels right here, right? And those two channels go straight down, right down through here, which then shows up right there. As you can see, you should be able to see them. If you can't see them, again, I apologize. But the channel's right through here. And if you look from the back here, you can see them. There they are. I can move my fingers back and forth. Hopefully you see my finger moving back there. There they are, all right? That's literally the channels. That's it right there. See my finger move behind there? So it comes through here, down these two little channels, and literally that's what it runs into the front. All right? There's two exit channels. So that's why no matter when you pour ink through here, when you put the bottles on top of here, it doesn't matter which channel, which hole you put the syringe through, it will come in air anyways, because it just pours right into the top. It doesn't really matter. The exit holes is right there, and it's both sides. As you can see, it's just both sides to pour down both sides. Now, it's a poor look. It's a really poor design because, pay attention. Look, I'm gonna take my little scissors, handy dandy scissors. I'm gonna shove it in here. Look, see how far back, see how far it goes in there. The channel in here is very, 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 very shallow. Extremely shallow. Alright. This space is very, very thin. It's literally about the width. I'm going to try to show it to you. That's how thick that channel is. Just the tip of the scissors. That's how wide that channel is. This entire channel, that's how wide it is right there. Alright. Everything else, there's nothing there. There's nothing in here. It's nothing. Totally backed up. Alright, so this entire channel here is not designed for DTF inks. Remember, DTF inks is thicker. Third-party inks, those the inks I like to use, the pigment inks. That little hole right up in here, see that little tiny channel, see that one right there and that one right there? Those are two little tiny holes that sit right up in here. I mean, you can barely, this scissors, the point of this scissors will not fit in that hole right here, okay? Both of these, and there's two of them. This scissors top, I know, I'm repeating myself. This is how important this is. These little scissors top will not fit in those two little holes, all right? That's how small those channels are. And then you want to put DTF ink in this thing, which as soon as air hits this thing, it's gonna clog. And this is just putting in ink in here. This is not even anything else. We haven't even hit these 2 points yet, and already I'm showing you where this thing's gonna clog up. All right. Then when you get down here to the second point, the ink gonna pour down through the back side. Down, it's gonna run down through here to these channels right here, and these two channels here have a tendency of clogging again because they're so shallow and narrow. Because remember, there's nothing here. There's just literally just nothing. How narrow these channels are. Now, let's get to the point that really makes more sense. This exit hole, this inlet, because this is just an air hole. This just sucks air in. Okay? Here is that inlet hole. There's one right here. It's back there. As you can see, it really leads to nothing. It's like nothing back there. There's a little hole back in here. You can barely see it. And there's the other one right there. See it? Again, one here, one here. So the plastic cover. That's one hole here, one hole here. That leads to this little inlet hole on the top. Now you tell me, why those two holes will not clog when you put DTF ink in here? This is if you haven't, your lines won't, your ink won't come out your DTF, your ink won't come out your printer, or you're getting clogs too fast. Well, it's because these things are not, these holes are probably clogged up. One there, one there. That's for this air inlet hose. All right. How the air gets in there? Well, it comes channeled through that little hole back through here. These little holes, actually, this actually is one. That little hole right back here. So here's your inlet, inlet hole. That thing right there. This is where it's going to suck air in, and it's going to get the air from everywhere else. So everybody breathes in this whole entire compartment because of that one little tiny hole right there. Okay, there's nowhere else for this entire thing to get air from but that little tiny hole back there. So when you shake this tank up with the ink, that little hole is going to get clogged. And then these channels here probably going to get clogged. Now the second place it can get air from is right up through these channels here, where it sees kind of the channels kind of move through and go through, and then it might, but it's still dependent on one thing, which is that little hole back here. And I'm still looking, and I still can't find a good place for it to suck air anywhere else. This is an air filter. Okay, this filters the air. This right here. This is covered up, so as you can see, this don't do nothing. This is a sealed air filter. It's sealed, so you can't get any air through here. No ink either. See right there? See? It's sealed. This is where the ink gets sucked out. There it is right there. So the ink comes in, fills up the chamber, right? This is a weird design. Okay, it runs along the bottom here. Here's one. Oh, the ink gets, well, if you look right here at the bottom, is a slit right across the bottom side of these 1, 2, 3 pieces. Okay, the ink runs right across the bottom piece, and then it just runs right into that filter. That filter then filters the ink to this little filters to this filter right here, and then goes up through this channel there, and then back up through here, which the ink just sucks it up. It literally sucks it up through here, up into this channel, and then back out to your print head. Do you see how much ways this thing can clog from here till Sunday? And every time you shake this printer, you literally give that hole right there every possible reason to clog. And this is why y'all having so much issues with clogging, or your printer's not printing, or ink not coming through the printer, because this thing clogs because of that little hole right there. And that's how this thing's designed. And you might get away with getting air from the top of this thing, but again, you see how easy that is to clog, because that's literally the other vent holes you have. All right, so this is a vent hole, and your vent hole back here. And I know I'm talking your ear off. So let's get past that now. Now, to bypass all of that, you need a CISS. I hope that the whole explanation explained why you need a CISS. If you're not using dye sub inks, which will not clog in those little tiny little holes they have in those packages or those things, this is why you need a CISS. A CISS helps you not to get those particles that's in pigment inks. And pigment inks is a powder in a solution. That's the understanding I got. So it's a powder in a solution, and the powder once the powder gets dry, it becomes like little rocks, and it stucks in there, and that's it, you're done. So you buy a CISS, and a CISS of all different types and kind. Let me show you. This is a CISS I'm currently. You saw the first one. The first one, that's what I use on my pigment printer. Okay, that's my pigment printer right there for my stickers. Now here's my second one. This is my second one. All right, this is the one I use for my DTF. Okay, these are all pigment inks too. So if you don't know, DTF use pigment inks. All right, and all my white inks. And this is another CISS that you can buy, different design, different style. Works exactly the same way as every other CISS. It just looks different. No different, just looks different. Works the same way, it just looks different. Now this one, the ink comes from the bottom. The one outside, the inks also come from the bottom. It just looks different, works the same way. Now, here's another set of CISS right here. This CISS right here, okay, this CISS sucks from the top. But if I open it up, let me show you something real quick. If I open it up, and you will look inside here, it sucks from the bottom. Because they all suck from the bottom. Every CISS sucks ink from the bottom up and out. They all do. They just design a little differently from all of them. So this one, the nozzle is in the top, but the hose sits in the bottom. Okay, so that's just CISS. They all work the same way. They look different. They may have this different characteristics, but they all work literally the same way. Now, you can buy a CISS with a stirrer system on it. Now, this is more for DTF. I think you need one too for UV. I'm not sure because I've seen UV ones with the mixer on the top. I don't have a UV printer. I want to get my hands on one, but I don't have one yet. So as soon as I get one, I'm gonna get a UV DTF printer. And we'll start sharing that information. But until then, this is what I got. Now, you have CISS that comes with these little white package. Anybody who have a XP15000 know you need one of these for your XP15000. Alright, you need to buy the ones with these little cartridges for your XP15000, which is a pain. We don't want them things. We still, but you know, we got to use them because you have the XP15000. You got to use it. So that's what we're doing. Now, I hope you stay tuned, meaning subscribe to the channel, because I was chosen. I don't know. Chosen might be too much of a stretch of a word here. But I was fortunate enough that you wonderful people have subscribed to my channel. Enough of you subscribed to my channel, and I was noticed by a company called, let me show you, Off Nova. I think that's, yes, this is Off Nova. And they sent me a CISS. So, and as you can see, it's still in the box. I didn't pay for that. I didn't call them. They actually sent me email and asked me if I want to, they didn't tell me to ask me if I want to review their CISS for them. And I said yes. So they sent me that. I didn't pay for it. They didn't pay me anything. I didn't ask for them to do this. They asked me if I wanted, and they sent it to me. And asked me to give them my opinion on their product. So that's it. Still in the box. So I figured I will just make a video about CISS before I even take it out of the box. And there it is. A video about CISS. So when I start making my review about that CISS, you guys are actually up to speed about CISS. Alright? Wish me luck. So that's the whole catch on the reason why I'm making this video about DTF CISS. And when I start reviewing that product, hopefully you can watch, get your information, and know. I'm crazy as hell, so you know I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to hold nothing back. And again, I'm not paid to do this. Nobody paid me. I didn't purchase it either, so I'm going to lay it all out there. I have no horse in this race.